Hi there, my name is Alicia Gonzalez, and today I'm going to be discussing the paper that I wrote titled Horace Mann, Public Education for the Future of Society. Horace Mann is often known as the leader of the Common School movement. As I discuss his educational philosophy, I'll share why that was, what his philosophy was, how his theory went into practice, whether or not it valued diversity, people who shared some similar beliefs and people who just completely opposed it, and what his worldview was in a biblical perspective. One of the greatest influences on Horace Mann's educational philosophy was the culture that he was raised into. Being raised just after the American Revolution ended meant he was being raised as America was becoming a new nation. This nation wanted to pride itself on its democratic ideals and also wanted to show itself as a power in the Industrial Revolution. So it makes sense that Mann's philosophy really focused on helping children grow into people capable of making democratic decisions. This meant they had to have a broad curriculum, have social mobility to be able to choose whether they would contribute in the Industrial Revolution or how they would contribute. Um, and also, it had a religious undertone. He was raised as a Protestant, later felt more aligned with Unitarianism. And he never lost sight of this in his educational philosophies to include character education as a guiding principle in education. A key component to his philosophy that made it work was that he was able to convince people in the community that paying for a public school was an investment by helping ensure that the children grow to be productive citizens in the future. He also really encouraged schools to use a broad curriculum. It no longer should be about memorization and one child coming up at a time. Mann really encouraged group instruction, drawing on Pestalozzi's views, and just making sure that children had a broad knowledge that they enjoyed school. They had playgrounds, adequate lighting and heating. So he really tried to look at school as a learning environment, not just a place to memorize. A key component for learning was character education. He believed a democratic society had to have ethical citizens. He also knew that the Bible was the way to help encourage this as a tool to discuss ethical choices. He did not subscribe to any specific doctrines, but felt the Bible should be included in school. Horace Mann valued diversity by encouraging social mobility regardless of what socioeconomic class they came from. At his time, this meant more of a focus on financial means, but it did pave the way later to show that education should not exclude people because of different life circumstances. One philosopher who shared some similar beliefs would be Robert Owen. He also believed that school was a tool to help improve society. The difference is that Robert Owen felt more utopian beliefs to create an ideal new society. John Dewey also shared some similar beliefs to Horace Mann in that he wanted school to be an equalizer. His emphasis, though, was a little bit more on individualization than Mann's belief of a common curriculum. With John Dewey's emphasis on individualization, you could say that he definitely had some contrasting ideas from Horace Mann. Another person who clearly had different beliefs was John Stuart Mill. He really advocated for academic freedom and to avoid the tyranny of the majority, as Gutek says. Taking all of these ideas into perspective makes me believe that Mann has a more postmodern worldview. Yes, he did encourage using the Bible in school, so there definitely is a Christian foundation in there, more so than maybe a naturalist foundation. But thinking about Moreland's perspective of a postmodern view where Christianity is subjective and the Bible as the ultimate truth and Christianity is more individualized makes me feel that Mann was definitely more postmodern because he did not say in school use the Bible to teach this set doctrine and that it is God and nothing else.